Dalbeattie High School has a very interesting aim. It's aim high and hold the aim. And I think that the current head teacher, Donald Wallace, makes absolutely sure that his pupils can do that very thing and have that ambition. And for us to be able to ensure that young people access the highest quality professional practice in their own environment, particularly in Dalbeattie, where they have not had any drama department for at least 10 years, it was a rare opportunity to make sure that they got access to the best when they did access it. I mean, for me, drama is a subject that not only helps them to understand literature, but it also helps them to articulate themselves and manage themselves in a public arena. It helps them to be able to be clear and confident about what they want and to be able to say it. I think all of these things are transferable skills, and those transferable skills are very particular, I think, to drama, and I would say to this production.
This production is, a very ambitious piece of work. It's a large-scale production to be mounting within a school hall, and an unconventional way to approach production. And I love that challenge, and I love challenging the younger people to understand, what it is we're trying to achieve, the whole thing, and to kind of reach for their potential, really, to achieve their potential. To see also the sense of team build. I mean, it's a great thing about drama. One of the great things about drama, is the way it can unite people, and how it builds a very strong bond between people, and the sense of an ensemble cast, an ensemble approach to production. Is of paramount importance, really, particularly with a play like this. And that's part of the great pleasure for me, is working in that team and sort of seeing that team build, seeing the confidence of people grow as the rehearsals and the productions develop.
Well, I'm feeling really good about this project. This is our second one with TAG. TAG were with us 2 years ago, along with the local Amateur Dramatic Society, the Birchvale Players, and it brings a whole new dimension to the life of the school that if we didn't have this project, then would, I think, mean that it would be very difficult to replicate it in terms of the resources we have available at present. In fact, I would go as far as we could not replicate what's happening without this tripartite arrangement.
It's great. I mean, it puts it in a whole different league. The expertise, the skill, the budget is pretty different to when we do our own thing. I hope that didn't sound too envious there. Just the ambition and the expectation of the standards is great. That's really important. And it worked last year. We had the visit, and then we followed on and did our own thing, which is much smaller scale, but there were ways of working that we had picked up on, and that we said, well, we could do that. We could have live music, which we hadn't always anticipated doing before. We could create costume in a new way. We could market it. We could have a whole team doing marketing based on what we had learned from Helen at TAG the year before. So it's really good. It puts everybody into a frame of mind that says, well, hang on, let's not settle for the basic standard kind of school show that we can churn out. Nothing wrong with those, but what if we did something else? What if we did a bit more? And the TAG staff just come in and lift everybody to a higher level. And it's great.
I don't think that there are many schools that I know of who would be so embracing of a project of this nature. As you can see behind me, we've taken over the entire hall, so that kind of means there aren't any sessions in this hall for about 10 days. People have been so accommodating, just with the materials we've used, and the way that the staff have involved themselves in a real hands-on approach.
Well, my role here as a member of staff is supporting the needs of the TAG and pupils at any time. I don't have any one specific role in this. I was involved in the earlier discussions of what we wanted and how TAG could help and how we could get involved with Birchvale. And since TAG has been involved here, we're very much in trying to provide space, time, resources, anything that can do to make that run smoothly.
my role is kind of a bit vague. I kind of, well, so far this morning I've painted a bit of scenery, I've made a cup of tea for the director, I've found a radiator for the costumier who was a bit chilly up in the art department, and spoken to a few kids. So it's kind of little bits and pieces around the edge that I do, trying to link up what the TAG staff need and make sure they've got what the school can provide, places, access to kids, just trying to arrange those sort of details. That's kind of I guess my position in the setup.
The director's role very much is about coordinating all the different elements of the production. And so it's harnessing the combined creative potential of everybody that's involved. So initial discussions are with, usually with the designer. Having done the visit 2 years ago in the room, we learnt that what we wanted to do then and what we felt was particularly challenging and successful ultimately was to kind of not do a conventional production on the main stage here itself, but to create an environment within the whole of the school hall.
I never in my wildest dreams foresaw that a stage would actually go down the middle of the hall, certainly in two different formats in terms of the visit and Animal Farm, but that I had not seen or foreseen at all. I'd always thought it would just be a traditional production on the school stage. And having the stage down the middle of the hall has a number of benefits in terms of allowing the young people and the adults that are involved to express themselves in ways that they probably couldn't do in the traditional stage. It brings them closer to the audience. I think it just allows the whole event to be developed in a way that would not be possible if we had stuck to a rigid traditional format on our stage, even though our stage is quite a nice stage.
I think the main difference between the last show and this show is the amount of work. Last time I kind of walked into something that I didn't fully understand at that point, and kind of winged it a wee bit. Started with a simple and straightforward set, and this time, because it went so well last time, I would say, if anything, maybe overstretched myself a little and designed a huge set with enormous amounts to do. It's an inordinate amount of painting and tons of hay, straw, bits of all sorts of stuff, farmyard things that have slowly been spreading their way through the school over the last couple of weeks, making me very unpopular, but there you go. But lots of happy kids at the same time because they all got to paint it. We had some extremely fast painters, messy painters, sloppy painters, brilliant painters, and yeah, I don't know, somehow they pulled it all off.
Beyond the decisions that the discussions that I have with the designer, I would then talk with Matilda Brown, who's responsible for the music and coordinating the composing talents of the musical students here in the school, and identify with her the various different sort of places that we anticipated that there would be music cues which would support the production and punctuate the production and help sort of tell and develop the narrative of the piece itself.
We sort of started off with improvising, and we took a mode, a Dorian mode, and we just slowly got into it and performed that, and everyone was improvising with what they felt comfortable with first. So we chose moods, different atmospheres and different moods and different colours to reflect what was happening in Animal Farm, the play, and that was what we started with. So we had the kind of rebellion mood, then we had the kind of sad mood. And already just within one kind of scale or one kind of area of a mode, we were actually creating different atmospheres through improvisation.
We had sort of fast-paced jazz. We had a bit of folk at the start as well, and we had to tone it down slightly, slow things down, and get a better atmosphere for the type of play we were doing.
This project for me begins with the initial meetings with Guy and Molly, the designer, talking about how the project's going to fit together, starting to look at schedules and so on for the rehearsal process, and starting to look at the initial ideas of the design that Molly's come up with, and then taking that through a period of meetings and discussions, starting to get into rehearsals and starting to bring some of that stuff to life.
Within a week or so after meeting the group who wanted to perform, we pretty much had it cast. It was quite clear to us there were some really keen individuals who we thought would benefit from particular challenges within the play, and so we just sort of matched them up to appropriate roles, really.
Yeah, it all kind of started just after everyone came back after the October holidays, I think. Everyone was like, Mr. Mean was like having quick words with people in corridors, people he thought might be interested in the whole drama thing and getting involved in another production. And then it all came to after school on Mondays and Tuesdays and building up, just had the big group exercises, so I think Ellie and Guy could get a little look into who they thought could
fit into the right characters,
yeah,
and
who they could fit in with. And then it just went on from there, and we had the proper rehearsals. Everyone was given a part. If they had to learn lines, had to learn lines. If they had to do physicality and everything else, which is the most challenging aspect, I think, of doing Animal Farm, is the fact that everyone's on crutches and you're having to be this animal for about 2 hours straight.
The early stages of rehearsal were about trying to take the cast through the whole piece, page 1 to page 58, just to give them, an understanding of the whole shape of the play. And going hand in hand with that was trying to encourage them as far as possible to adopt the physical mannerisms and gestures that were appropriate for whichever animal it is that they were playing. And that's a serious challenge, for any actor, and certainly has been a challenge for the student cast.
it's come together extremely well, and I think the physicality of the play has really pushed the students and given them a fantastic opportunity to be involved and experience physical theatre, and to show the audience as well what you can do. At the end of the day, a lot of text, you need to see them performed in order to bring them to life and to develop your understanding and appreciation of the text.
It's really interesting in this piece, because of the nature of the costume, it is very much putting on a mask, which allows young people, I think, to further explore that characterisation and to think a little bit deeper about how they wish to be portrayed on stage. And it has been extremely challenging, because at the end of the day, they're not professional actors, and I doubt very much that any of them have ever been asked to be a pig, a cow, or a sheep, or a hen before. So that in itself was an absolutely massive challenge for us, to try and put young people through that process, because in some of the particular animal characters, it's really quite hard to look like a hen when you're a human. The sort of shaping of it, you can get the nuances, and it takes quite a lot of confidence to pick up on those nuances. It's not only just about the different emotions that we ask the group to consider within the play, but it's and the journey you want to take the audience on, but it's the actual structuring of how you become an animal. When you think about it, it's extremely hard, and in that sense we've had a lot of fun.
So we started off with designs, and working from the designs, the pupils did further research into the animal shapes and animal heads, and they did mood boards of each particular animal just to get a feel from how they looked from all angles, what the particular characteristic was of the animal. The idea was to take an element of the animal and represent it through costume, so taking the essence out. So because there was limited time and also limited means, because I was trying to teach the pupils new skills as well, we decided to settle for headpieces and things like tails to represent the animal. So that was the initial part. I then went on to teach skills such as felt making and millinery skills, so that they could create their own pieces.
Knowing that I was going to be working with a costume designer who has had experience of working either basically in schools and also in productions. I knew that we were going to be using techniques and materials that we don't normally get the chance to use, such as felt making, some quite expensive materials. And I just decided that mainly it was the third year classes, but I just thought it'd be a really good experience for them before they go on to do intermediate 2 next year, what it's like to work from scratch on some kind of design that turns into a production, working to a really large scale and having to work to a time scale and seeing how important it is that you meet your deadlines and allow them to have a bit of fun as well. So in that sense, I think it's been a real benefit and a real bonus, because certainly the 40 odd students that I've got in third year, you know, they have now learnt techniques that they perhaps wouldn't have done at this stage. And I think that certainly when you talk to kids around the school about the production, it's a real positive thing. You know, they all feel like they're getting involved in it, people wanting to volunteer, people staying behind after school, wanting to give their time, just for the common cause.
Well, this is for the raven, so it is, and it'll get like things that'll hang off it to make it look feathery and stuff.
I'm doing the horse's tail, and right now I'm just detangling it.
We don't really do much at this school like this, and it's nice to get people in and teach us new stuff, like what I said, making structures and all that. Yeah, it's definitely been good having new people in. I want to design clothes and stuff, so yeah, this is sort of inspiring it as well. Good.
Oh, the costumes were amazing.
Yeah,
I was really
absolutely
impressed
incredible.
with the costumes.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the chickens and the birds. The birds ones
Beautiful.
where they have their kind of like, they have a bum and they have their wee wings as well.
Beautiful.
They're
Very
really
beautiful.
smart.
Yeah.
At first when I saw, I think Sevs was the first, he plays boxer. He had the first like horse's hat done. And at first when we saw it we were like, what's that? We didn't quite know what it was, but then when he puts it on it looks really smart. You can see where the horse's head comes down and the shape of it, and it's like, he gets properly into it as well. I think he really likes it.
Yeah, he does.
My job is almost entirely collaboration, and so that includes obviously the professional tag staff on the project, and then a lot of liaison with teachers in the school about arranging times for rehearsals, arranging access to buildings, and also starting to talk to teachers about doing some of the production work, getting some of their classes involved in building things and so on. And then right through to a team of students that I've worked with along the way, who've all been involved in lighting, sound, stage production, construction of scenery, and so on. And I supervise most of those students through and help to develop their skills and to make sure that the job gets done.
I've learnt new skills that I wouldn't learn in school because we don't have like big fancy equipment like this, and we don't usually put a big fancy stage up.
I've learned kind of what's involved in stage management and also to be organised.
I've learned new skills and like to do with lighting and stuff because I've never done this before, so it's a new experience.
I've learnt new skills helping with lights, how to actually program them so they actually work, and what really is needed to set up a play.
I'm hoping to go to drama school after I leave 6th year and hopefully do stage management, so it is something I'd like to continue with.
I don't know whether I'd carry it on, but it's definitely been good fun, so I would definitely consider it.
It's been good working with Andrew because he's a pro, and I've learnt a lot from him, and I want to do like what he does.
There are elements of the project that bring a lot of things into the building that we wouldn't see in a normal school environment, scaffolding towers and mains electricity, bits of wiring and so on. And so there's a lot of careful consideration of exactly what we can let students do, what we can't, how supervised they need to be. But also I think for me I try to make sure that the students see some of that process, that the students that we're working with on the scaffolding tower, for example, understand a little bit of how it's constructed, how I'm checking why it is done the way it is, so that they're also getting a sense of that.
Whenever I'm coming here to work with the students on marketing, what we try and do is give them a bit of an overview of the general types of things that you would have to do whenever you're marketing theatre. So that involves quite a few different areas. We're not able to have enough time probably to go into all of them in real depth, but it's really a good opportunity to give them a range of experiences. So some of the things that we've been focusing on are press releases and the importance of that. In fact, we're generally kind of looking at marketing and the fact that we're communicating to lots of different people for different reasons. One of the first things that we did was develop a press release. The students actually jointly all wrote a press release which we got out to press, and as a result one of the main things that we got back off that was that we actually had a BBC Radio Scotland feature, which was terrific, and it was good to actually be able to tell the students that the reason that happened and the reason the school was being featured at least 3 times in Radio Scotland yesterday was because they had written that press release. So again, it's trying to demonstrate that the things that they are doing, although it may seem quite dry in the classroom and you're writing, actually it does result in quite tangible and sometimes quite exciting things. They've been working on the posters, and there was actually particular members of the art department entered into a competition where they designed posters, and the winning poster was then created, as you can see behind me, and the students that I've been working with have been working very hard to distribute those around the town. Also working on ticket sales in school, in the town. They're actually using their own initiative, so without any kind of planning or discussion in class, they've gone out and they were distributing the posters, and they actually arranged for some other shops in town that they thought were key locations in Dalbeattie, arranged that they would sell tickets for them as well. They've been tracking that. They've also been planning the front of house activities, which includes the programme, ticket sales in the night, kind of taking tickets, showing people to their seats, interval refreshments, things like that. So there's quite a range of activities that they've been taking part in.
What have you enjoyed most about it so far?
Playing with the cast.
Rehearsing, like full rehearsals.
Full rehearsals.
Did like composing stuff with each other.
The fun of composing, that was good fun. The feedback we got from each other was quite amusing as well.
I think people-wise is actually quite fun as well. It is. It's
Yeah.
a really nice bunch of people who've got together.
I think it's just unique that there's all the different people's styles that they might not, normally they probably wouldn't play together, but it's just this kind of work allows everyone to have the opportunity to play their different styles and their different ways how they express themselves, and I think that's allowed this whole group to come together, and I think that the pupils will realise again the possibilities now after this. Or actually we could put xylophone with clarinet with the electric guitar and it would work. We don't have to stick to one kind of style of music.
We are all working in not a strange, but a slightly more unusual line of work. We get by and we're all happy and fine and stuff like that. And I work a lot in film and TV, as well as doing this sort of stuff, and get by in. And it's a good job. It's a crazy job, but it's it works out really well. It's been working out well for me. And there's loads of kids here, most of the kids who wouldn't even be aware of that kind of world, that it exists, that those jobs exist, that there are courses that you can do that exist, that are perfectly suited to their skills. But there's millions of things for them to do. And I think that we maybe gave, by working with us, they get a little insight into a different kind of world where, not that they don't necessarily have to be doing theatre stuff, but maybe they want to go and be a polar explorer or, anything,
Getting the opportunity to work with a professional set designer, seeing how things would actually be done and how similar our experiences in school is transferable over to that side of things. You think it's a million miles away and you've got no experience or no knowledge of that kind of thing, but once you actually get involved and realise that people are doing this for a living, have similar skills to yourself, and how you can transfer your own skills onto that side of things, has been very interesting and enjoyable. It's good to know that you can turn your hand to many things. And I think it's as I said before, the pupils have the opportunity to see that these skills are transferable, these core skills that we teach them, and they can be used out there in the big wide world.
I would like to see the next time we bring TAG in, and hopefully we'll have the funding to do this next year, I'd like to see some different things. I'd like to see us looking at writing with the kids. I'd like to see kids in more of a directing role. I think we could bring in TAG to do even more mentoring and coaching of particularly senior students who want to develop their skills in all sorts of areas, from filmmaking to directing to composing to technical stuff. So we're starting to see things that we could play with in the future.
Who knows what's going to happen in the next few years, but I'm very much hoping that this has left a really positive, lasting impression on pupils and staff alike.
On a personal level, I found it invaluable working with a professional theatre company, because I think it's going to enhance my teaching, and I'm sure I'll be able to learn, and I have learned a lot from the likes of Guy and Ellie, for example, on simple things just like warm-up games, but then you see more and more of what you can do with the pupils and the whole rehearsal process.
There is one thing that young people associate with theatre, and that's a bit of glamour. And to be a pig or a cow or a sheep wasn't necessarily glamorous to start with. But I think what that production did do was challenge young people and extend them in a way that possibly no other production would have done. And I think that was the phenomenal success of it, was the way in which young people grew throughout the rehearsal stages into producing performances that were just outstanding.
Having the TAG theatre group in Dalbeattie School has been a great thing for the pupils and the staff as well. Seeing the job being done professionally, building the set, how they practice learning their words, how they rehearse, the various different aspects of theatre, seeing it done professionally has been a big insight to me and the colleagues at the school and the children as well. It's been a great thing, and long may this association continue.
More than anything else, a huge, just wow to the tag team, because to be honest, the school, there's no way the school could have done this without tag, without just yourself or Ellie or Guy or everyone else that was working behind it, because I know it's not just the few people that came up here, there was other people working on it before you came down to Dalbeattie. So I think without tag, no chance, couldn't have happened. There was a lot of work put into it, and hopefully everyone saw it was worth it.
Yeah, well, a big thank you.
Yes, it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
For such a small school, we haven't even got 400 students. We've got so many very talented kids in this place. I think people should be very proud of them.
This kind of project, a project on this scale, would clearly not be possible without kind of a whole range of people's contributions. And one of the things that actually makes this project such a success, and in many ways such a pleasure to do, is that it's the product of a close partnership between us as a professional theatre company and the school itself, and Create, the part of the Dumfries and Galloway Council, who have supported the project, really initiated it in many ways, has worked very hard to find the resources and the funding to kind of make it possible. And obviously we're very grateful for that. And it's really because of their vision that this kind of thing happens, really, that there are people there, who understand the value of it and the benefits of it to all concerned. And without them, this kind of project wouldn't happen, and all the young people who have benefited wouldn't have that opportunity.
To Animal Farm.